to today's edition of Love and Money, a summer school business management podcast, created by Brandy Love. Who am I and what does this have to do with money? I'm the love in Love and Money. Money. We're going to be talking about things that impact school budgets. I'm currently a grad student at the University of Memphis, enrolled in a course, School Business Management, entitled under Leadership 7131 under the direction of Dr. Derek Robinson. This is podcast number 3 in a series of 4. Tonight's topic, the money trail. We're going to focus on Shelby County Schools. Continuing down the money trail, how much is a classroom teacher really worth? Let's jump into teacher pay and compensation. How is this topic related to school business management or the business of schools? Everyone knows that teachers and students are the lifeblood of a school, and teacher pay and compensation tends to have a strong impact on school budgets. In 2018 and continuing over into 2019, there were statewide protests in several states about educator pay and pension. That momentum has not changed, and some people still feel the same way in 2020. According to NEA, the National Education Association, which I'm a proud member of, teacher pay varies widely by state. According to some of the latest data I found in 2017, for example, in New York, the average teacher's salary is $81,902 a year, compared to $42,925 in Mississippi. Now that may sound like a lot to you, but in a city where a 3-bedroom may cost you $5 million, $81,000 is not a lot of money. Now, remember last week when I told you, under the Trump administration, the United States Department of Education, under their 2021 budget, it includes $66.6 billion in new discretionary funds for the Department of Education. This is an 8.4% reduction from the 2020 school year. Also remember that I told you last week that here, right here in our state, the state of Tennessee, the Tennessee Department of Education's budget, $11,928,992,000. That is the recommended budget for the 2020-21 school year. How does this affect us? Stay with me on the money trail. Let's go back to the United States Department of Education. Remember, we're talking about teacher pay and compensation. So let's talk about salaries and compensation for the United States Department of Education. Look here at their salaries and expenses. In the 2021 school budget year, the United States Department of Education, under its salary and expense budget, that budget is a total of $2.5 billion. That's an increase of $138 million from last year's budget in 2020. Now, this does include several key departmental policy and management priorities, such as updating and upgrading the IT department to ensure the integrity of the department, building modernization and renovation so that the department can hold down future costs. But the most important thing I want you to note here is that it includes the fiscal budget of 2021 for 4,028 employees. I'm going to say that again, 4,028 employees. That's an increase of an additional 196 employees from the 2020 year. Now, how does this impact us? The most distinguished educator in the United States is Education Secretary Betsy DeVos. Here pictured with her husband, Dick DeVos. Now in 2019, they reported $56 million in personal money. In 2018, they reported $45 million. That's according to Forbes. But as the United States Education Secretary, the most distinguished educator in the United States earns $207,800 a year. How does that impact us? Remember, the United States Secretary of Education is the most distinguished educator in the U.S. So what message do you send to teachers and teacher pay when the top educator has never been an educator? She's never been a teacher, never been in a public school, never worked on a school board. What message do you send to teachers and teacher pay? Let's continue down the money trail. What does this mean for Tennessee teachers, particularly Shelby County Schools located here in Memphis? Well, according to the Commercial Appeal here in Memphis in December 2020, a first-year teacher in Shelby County School earns $43,000 a year, maxing out after 19 years of service at $73,000 a year. $30,000 increase over the course of 19 years. Now let's go back. This means that after a teacher reaches year 19, they'll never receive another pay raise. This also means no major increase to their retirement benefits. Let's follow the numbers and stay down this trail. Here, under Shelby County Schools, the employee's benefit plan, it's a 70-30 split with the district after the teacher reaches a set deductible. What does this mean? For example, if a single first-year teacher has no dependents, earns $43,000 a year, after spending $1,500 out of pocket on that 70-30 split, the remaining medical should go to the district. But now their 30% split, let's talk about that. SES divides that into teacher pay over the course of 26 pay periods. That 30% comes directly from the teacher's paycheck, with money being withdrawn every 2 weeks. Let's stay on the trail and look at the numbers. Here in Shelby County Schools, when a teacher is hired, they are automatically awarded 10 sick days per year that accrue continuously. That means if you get 10 sick days your first year, you do not take any sick time off that year, then the next year you now have 20 sick days, so on and so forth. So for a first-year teacher who earns $43,000 per year, based on a 200-day school year calendar, this means that teacher is approximately valued by the district at $215 a day. But remember, if the teacher is out, there has to be a sub there at school. The sub makes $95 a day. Where does America think about teachers so far? Well, hey, we rank 19 in teacher pay. Let's stay on the money trail. Now, I could not get HR to give me anything in writing. However, I called my Aunt Gwen, who stays ready, who's also a retired Shelby County School educator and a full-time sub, who confirmed that Shelby County School pays $95 per day for substitute teachers. That's at a rate of $475 per week if the sub lands a position for the entire week. Most of the time, it's for a day at a time. Or if they're lucky, they get a long-term sub assignment. Long-term subs are paid at a rate of $163 a day. This must be approved by the principal. Long-term sub. Let's say, for example, a teacher breaks their leg, and now the teacher knows that they're going to be off work for 6 weeks. This is where you would want a long-term sub so that you can provide the students with some sort of stability. Let's stay on the money trail. So now let's look at the numbers. $215 per day. That's what Shelby County Schools is paying that teacher, plus 10 sick days a year. Plus, remember, you have to have a sub when the teacher's out of the building. That's $95 for the sub per day. That's costing the district on average $3,100 per year. This doesn't include, and I also got this from HR, but they would not put it on the record, that the average new teacher has about 5 professional development days that they spend out of the classroom. So again, that's that same $215 per day per teacher, plus that $95 rate of pay for the sub. Because remember, you want to offer the new teacher new training and development opportunities. But this costs the district an additional $1,550 a year. Let's stay on the trail. Let's look at the numbers. Now, according to NCES, the National Center for Educational Statistics, in the 2016-2017 school year, school districts across the nation on average, with employee split, and remember Shelby County Schools is 70-30, but with the employee split on medical, dental, and vision benefits, they spend on average $12,794 per teacher. Let's stay on the trail. What does this mean for us? How is this topic related to school business management? What does this mean? This means that on average, a first-year teacher with Shelby County Schools may earn $43,000 a year. However, that one teacher is actually costing the district around $60,000 a year. What does SES spend in total annually on a teacher that's possibly worked for 5 years, or a teacher that's worked for 10 years, or a teacher that's worked for 20 years? Therefore, in conclusion on tonight's podcast, when an administrator hires a teacher for his or her school, they truly need to be certain that they've selected the right candidate, because this is a sizable investment. You have to ask yourself, does your school receive a sizable return on its human capital? Thank you for tuning in, attending, and following our weekly podcast. Tune in next week for our final summer podcast series. This has been tonight's edition of Love and Money.